Little Teofimo just walked right through him. He is the biggest little tiny man I've ever seen in my life. He's a heavyweight on midget's legs. He's got 2 legs like that and he's got my size body. He's the biggest little man I've ever seen. He's the biggest featherweight on the planet, bar nobody. And I got to back him what he says. Ain't no 126, 135 pounder can beat him. No Lomachenko's nobody. Because he's a heavyweight on 2 tiny...
Hello. Tyson Fury was right. Luke Thomas had a good instinct about this as well.
Everybody I talk to who knows more than me all says Lomachenko should win. And I think that's probably the smart money. I don't know, dude.
And for me, I made a breakdown signifying that Teofimo Lopez did have a chance and that his speed and power was a great equalizer, but I didn't think he would stifle Lomachenko's game to the extent he did. He knew something. What he accomplished was impressive beyond words, and when you see the fight happen, it's easy to see why. People saying Lomachenko didn't show up, that does not do justice to what Teofimo was doing. But also, by virtue of what he was doing, it also allowed Lomachenko to pick up his rhythm in the later rounds. Lomachenko does usually pick up partway through the fight, when he gets a read on his opponents, a feel for the rhythm. From there, he tries to get you on the back foot, shelling you with his jab, snowballing off the control he establishes. Teofimo stifled this with 2 things. First, his lightning fast jab. His jab comes from a hands-low position, which makes it hard to see. Plus, he's just so fast that he's hard to see in the first place. Explosive, quick. Paired with that reach he had, that 3-inch advantage, even if the jab did not land, the moment it blocked vision was the moment a bit of Lomachenko's pressure was stifled. His ability to get into that rhythm, that flow was stifled. Lomachenko cannot play that game, that lulling rhythm he has with his lead hand, his slips at a range, his pawing, his in and out footwork, because Teofimo is so explosive and his reach significantly greater. In a game of inches, 3 inches of reach is a massive difference. The moment Lomachenko attempted to play his game, lulling his way into reach, sharp down the middle would come instead a jab, often from the inside foot. The outside foot versus a southpaw grants line for the backhand, the inside foot line for the jab. Teofimo would also move into a square position or even turn his backhand from the inside foot, thus with his looping punches, quickness, that speed, and of course his reach, he could still tag Loma to the body, smashing him away out of his ideal angle of attack. This smash to the body, the moment he connected hard and clean, even if Lomachenko was about to get a good angle, the power of Teofimo Lopez would mitigate Lomachenko's attempt to secure a superior angle. If Vasyl Lomachenko could get this angle, he would tee off on Teofimo from that superior angle of attack. But Teofimo Lopez, he did not give Vasyl Lomachenko that angle easily. With the jab, which is pushing him out of the way, get out of here, move, back out. Lomachenko, he couldn't step into the angle he needed. That is just it. The jab coming out like lightning, but also Teofimo Lopez just physically pushing Lomachenko out of that position, often transitioning from a frame to a post. He would ruin Lomachenko's attempt to secure the angle. Teofimo Lopez obviously studied Vasyl Lomachenko very well. He understood what Lomachenko wanted to do, and with simple decisions, the game Lomachenko wanted to play was henceforth stifled. Simplicity and understanding. Be genius, but at a cost. What Teofimo Lopez was doing with his jab, to be that explosive, that powerful, it has its own price. That explosive snap of the jab that you could barely see. As the fight progressed, you could see it slow down. The moment it did, that's when Lomachenko's rhythm started to pick up. You could start feeling his game start come into play. Vasyl Lomachenko's father is a genius. I don't think Anatoly Lomachenko's even fought, but somehow he's turned Vasyl Lomachenko into a monster. He's like the Ukrainian Kus D'Amato. When I look at Lomachenko, I literally cannot note any special talent. He hasn't been bigger than most of his competition. He isn't the fastest puncher. He isn't the hardest hitter. Like, what is one thing you can say Lomachenko has physically as an advantage? I've made a lot of work on the various ways Anatoly Lomachenko turned Vasyl into this monster, but quite literally, I see a normal man with a significant knowledge, skill, and technical advantage. It was hard work and understanding ingrained by a father who had a vision beyond its time, which had Lomachenko dominate almost everyone. He made his opponents look like they did not even belong in there with him. Knowledge, advantage, but That's what it was. It was a technique and knowledge advantage attacking a hole in understanding. Teofimo Lopez, he studied that hole, that blind spot, and quite simply, with his attributes, he used simple techniques to stifle Lomachenko's game. Teofimo Lopez, he has a similar advantage possessed by Naoya in a way. Both do have wind-up in their punches, but intriguingly enough, that doesn't slow down the speed of their strikes. Instead, it speeds up their strikes, which makes it hard to see unless you slow it down. Why is this? You can't really tell he's even telegraphing because he's so very quick. But when you do, it's right there. How is this possible? What is happening here? Well, if you have a tighter force transmission system, tighter elastic fascia, ligaments and tendons, a lot of fast twitch, sure, you usually aren't as flexible, but you're a lot more explosive. This is why the wind-up increases telegraph, but also makes their strikes much faster. This does not work for everyone, as not everyone has this quality of high fast twitch and tighter fascia. Some people are naturally more flexible and some people are just naturally more explosive. But that's just it. One of the ways both Teofimo Lopez and Naoya in a way compensate for this wind-up is by slightly throwing their backhand back as they reach for the jab. This gives the jab more oomph, it makes the jab more powerful, but also disguises the load-up of the backhand. Overall though, I've seen Lomachenko attempt to replicate this in previous fights, but he's not built this way. Anatoly Lomachenko told Vasyl to revert back to his standard style of striking because it wasn't working the same way it would for someone like Naoya in a way or Teofimo Lopez. Lomachenko's advantage is that he's smarter and has a greater knowledge advantage than his competition. That is his advantage. Not speed, not power. He makes his opponents look slow by confusing them and putting them in positions where he can fire and they cannot. He is a chess master in the world of boxing. But Teofimo Lopez, he just did not allow that tier of game to come into play, with simplicity and understanding. Now, for the finishing sentiments. Simplicity and understanding defeating intricacy and genius. This is a philosophy that reigns true throughout all of nature. Anything complicated, elaborate, beautiful, intricate, it always has an answer that can stop it with something much simpler. A tank could be stopped by a Molotov cocktail that does not cost a fraction of the amount, rendering the tank inoperable. A drone can be stopped by a fraction of the cost with a Blighter's anti-UAV defense system, which sends out a frequency, disconnecting the drone from the operator. A fraction of the cost. Overall, a much lower cost is required to defeat brilliance, so as long as you can understand that brilliance. He stifled Lomachenko's beautiful, genius game for much of the fight. To that end, by saying Vasyl Lomachenko did not show up, it does not do justice to what Teofimo had done. He figured something out and used it excellently, and that's, quite frankly, why he won. Of course, his attributes were a catalyst to that understanding, to that simplicity, but nonetheless, with understanding and simplicity, he stifled pure genius. To that end, thank you Vasyl Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez for this lesson. If you'd like more from me, please subscribe and hit the notifications. Thank you if you did. It truly does mean a lot to me. Thank you. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. It's good karma, and until next time, peace.